Welcome to the Tech Talks Daily Podcast, where you can learn and be inspired by real-world examples of how technology is transforming businesses and reshaping industries in a language everyone can understand. Here is your host, Neil C. Hughes.
Welcome back to the Tech Talks Daily Podcast. Now, we've been very fortunate to have some huge names on this podcast recently, from Facebook to VMware, etc. But at the end of every episode, I always tell you that I want to hear voices from all over the world, not just Silicon Valley. And this is just one of the many reasons why I'm excited to get today's guest in, because he's going to be joining me all the way from Perth, Australia. His name is Jon Gregory. He started his career as a finance guy who ended up using his degree in applied physics. And he dedicated his spare time to transforming the traditional gym using 21st century technology. The result was a company called Vitruvian, and I want to learn all about that and his story. So buckle up and hold on tight as I beam your ears all the way to Perth, Australia, where Jon Gregory is waiting to speak with me today. So a massive warm welcome to the show. Can you tell the listeners a little about who you are and what you do?
Thanks for the invite, Neil. My name is Jon Gregory. I'm the founder and CEO of a company called Vitruvian. We make the world's most efficient, effective and convenient ways to train, particularly resistance training. But we see ourselves as being on the cutting edge of fitness technology and bringing fitness technology to the world.
I must admit, when I first saw your name come through on an email, I thought, it's not Jon Gregory, the ex-Aston Villa manager and Derby County manager. So we can lay that one to rest straight away, right?
It is, yeah, it is not. There must be more than one Jon Gregory in the world. That is not me.
Well, I'd love to take you back in time for a moment. I mean, can you remember where your passion for tech came from, or the moment that put you on this path, and how those worlds of fitness and technology collided? Or ultimately, what's your origin story?
Yeah, I mean, that is a deep and long question, and I'll try not to be too gratuitous on the answer. But from almost my earliest memory, I've been an inventor. I've been wanting to, I remember being a little boy, wanting to change things, wanting to make things, wanting to improve things, wanting to do things differently. And yeah, as you grow and mature and go through your education, you gain more skills and more knowledge about how to apply a kind of inventive and changing mindset. And so I guess that's what drives my interest in technology, changing the world for better. And technology, just when it's deployed correctly, that's exactly what technology does. And whatever it touches, it makes the world a better place, or at least the technology that I'm interested in. Yeah.
And I also read in a former life you were like a finance guy working around the clock on algorithmic trading and high-frequency computing and squeezing workouts in company training room as well. Is that right?
Yeah, it sounds about right, yeah. Yeah, in a former life, I ran a high-frequency trading company, which was, again, an inventive and progressive endeavour. It was lots of technology involved in that business, and when markets were quiet, when trading conditions were quiet, we had a gym in the back of the trading room where myself and the other traders would, just do bench pressing and whatever and compete with each other. And that was the genesis of the idea of going back 15 years ago now.
Wow.
That surely we could deploy some technology in this arena as well. It seemed incongruous that we were trading at the speed of light at one end of the office, and at the other end, just pushing around bits of metal, which people have been doing for thousands of years. So yeah, surely with the application of technology, we could make resistance training engaging, adaptive, full of data, and surely that would be interesting and possible and interesting, and that's where it started.
So that path ultimately led you to Vitruvian. So can you tell me more about the company and those problems you set out to solve with technology?
Yeah, sure. Trading went well. It gave me a lot of time and freedom to work on projects that I thought were fundamentally interesting and challenging and difficult, but could bring real results to the world. And that's what led me to Vitruvian and kept me interested in Vitruvian. So yeah, over the course of a number of years, I sort of taught myself how to do it, going back to my real roots of degree in applied physics. Just went back to the drawing board of how to apply technology into this domain. Worked for years out of my shed and throwing proofs of concept together, and they started to get good. They started to get better, and they started to get really good. They started to get better than I thought they would be. It wasn't just possible, but you could build actually hardware that was engaging and interesting, but it might actually be super beneficial. There might be really something that's new about adaptive resistance that lets people train way more effectively than they've ever done before. And the prototypes got better and better until I showed them to a local angel investor and VC friend of mine, and he gave me $100,000 to kick the business off. And I'm like, well, I didn't think they were that good, but if you do, then I'll throw in a bit of money myself, and away we go. And that was how Vitruvian was founded, based on probably a decade of thought, effort and work and proofs of concept, which had got to the point where it looked interesting enough to get some investment and turn it into a commercialization story.
And I'm curious, what was it that made you want to leverage artificial intelligence to revolutionise the in-home gym there? What was that moment that made you think, let's get technology involved, let's get artificial intelligence and just rethink the whole thing?
I think it wasn't like an actual moment but it was a series of it should be a series of moments of it should be possible. I think it's possible. Why is no one else doing it? Maybe I do have to do it myself to find out, and maybe it is up to me to do it. So a lot of kind of belief building in my own self and abilities that it was something worth doing and something that I could actually do myself as well. Bit of a vague answer, but that's I think the truth of it. Yeah.
So can you walk me through how it all works? How can users get up and running for anyone that's listening and hearing about what you're doing for the first time?
Sure. Well, Vitruvian is on a mission to build a experience for our members that is so good and so seamless and so amazing that all you have to do is buy a product and pay your membership, and that product will arrive at your door, you'll roll it out, you'll plug it in, you'll turn it on, and you'll get stronger. That's our kind of Vitruvian guarantee and our North Star that we're heading this entire company and this entire effort towards, that with the application of very engaging and very effective hardware, combined with software, combined with community, combined with content, combined with data, combined with artificial intelligence, that we package the whole lot together so that you literally just join the community and you will get stronger. So that'll be an ongoing life of the company mission, to make that experience as good and as seamless as possible. And when we finish that, we'll do it again, and we'll do it again, and we'll do it again. But where we are now is, on that journey and doing pretty well on that journey already. So you log onto our website, you buy a product, it'll arrive on your door, you'll roll it out, you'll plug it in, you'll turn it on, and you'll be training on the most effective and efficient and adaptive ways to train in the world. And that'll mean that you'll have to train for less time, or you'll be able to train way more effectively for a given amount of time. And that's where Vitruvian stands now. So you plug it in, you turn it on, you connect to the machine through your phone, and you're involved you're brought into the Vitruvian training ecosystem, where you can do a class, you can do a program, you can do a single exercise if that's what you want to do, or you can build your own workouts. You can build those workouts, you can share them with other members, you can receive workouts from other members, and away you go.
And as this is a tech podcast, the question I've got to ask on behalf of all the techies listening is, can you tell me a little bit more about the tech that makes all this possible?
Yeah, sure. I'll give you like a kind of rambling spec from the ground up. The hardware is full high power, motor driven, powered by dual motor drive and controller, all developed by Vitruvian. It connects via Bluetooth to your phone or to your TV so that you can interact with it and change the weights. It will do from 0 to 100 kilos per axis, or 0 to 200 kilos, which is more than enough for 95% of the world's population to get a very intense dose of resistance. What else can I tell you around the technology? Built into the firmware on the platform is a an algorithm that changes the weights 1,000 times a second and streams data from the device to your phone. And from there, your phone streams data to the cloud and records your workout data, calculates points, calculates calories for you, puts you on a leaderboard, and a whole host of other data and metrics that you might like to have around your workout. That's a bit of a spec for you.
Yeah, and who are your target customers? Are they techies? Are they fitness fanatics? People just wanting to keep fit in their home, or a combination of all of that?
Yeah, so we are slowly building a mass market fitness technology brand. So we feel that we have something to offer almost everyone, whether you be a young guy at school who wants to jump higher in his basketball games, whether you're a young man who wants to look better down at the beach, whether you're a young girl who wants to work on her booty, or whether you're an old guy like me who just wants to maintain muscle mass as he ages, or whether perhaps you're in your retirement and you really want to do effective and efficient resistance training or muscle stimulation as you age to help you live a longer and happier and more mobile life. Or perhaps you're wanting to rehabilitate from surgery or an injury. So we feel like we have things to offer, and part of our value proposition that addresses all of those user types and stereotypes, which lets us make the claim to be a mass market consumer product.
And I'm curious, do you get to hear any feedback stories? Have you had any feedback from the community? Because, like you say, you are serving a lot of people around the world. So I'm curious if you get to hear any feedback stories.
Yeah, sure. It's one of the best parts of doing this is getting the technology in the hands of the people that you made it for, and hearing back from them about how much they're enjoying using it, how beneficial it is, how fun it is. We've had people say it's like arm wrestling a Tesla, like stepping into this kind of adaptive sort of fighting with a robot, or kind of not really fighting a robot, but adapting to a robot is just in and of itself is a very engaging experience. We've had people say that they've had new levels of performance and new levels of gains that have come out of using the adaptive resistance, particularly in eccentric mode. Yeah, I was just visiting a customer just yesterday and spent an hour with him actually doing a service call and a visit with this guy, and it was amazing. He tells me he just loves jumping on it, and he'll do some squats and then he'll do a class, and he's a skier, and he'd rather, he's part of his core benefit is keeping his legs strong so that when he does go skiing, he's able to, he's in prime condition for skiing, but he's discovering that, there's all this upper body stuff he can do. He can work on his, shoulder and the rest of his body because it's so easy to do that with classes. So he's doing things he would never have thought he wanted to do, but because it's available, he gets involved and he gets the benefit. So there's a few little customer stories for you.
I love that line. It feels like arm wrestling a Tesla. You need to use that.
That's a good one. That's a good one, isn't it? Yeah.
But yeah. I mean, where do you go from here? How do you keep evolving with the tech and improving those algorithms? What's next for you?
Yeah, it's all of the same and more of the same, and it's just rolling out the network now. We've got a product and a suite of products that are made for the world, and we just can't wait to build and grow that global community month on month now. We've got a fairly ambitious hardware roadmap as well of future new products, future accessories that expand the usability of the core product. We've just got a lot of work to do in bringing this to the world. We know we've got something that the world wants, and we're just desperate to bring it now. There's just a lot of work and a lot of hustle, and we'll get there, and we'll be a great global fitness technology brand.
Awesome. Love that. Well, we started the podcast today talking about your origin story, what put you on this path. And I always like to finish as we come full circle by asking the guests to leave everyone listening on a personal note of inspiration. And that can be either leaving a song that we can add to our Spotify playlist. I'm sure you've got a few fitness playlists and a few inspirational songs that maybe you could add one of those to our Spotify playlist. Or if you prefer, you can add a book that has inspired you to our Amazon wish list. All I'm going to ask is what you're going to choose, what you're going to leave us with, and is there a story or reason behind that choice?
I'll leave you two things. I'll leave you a book and a song.
Nice.
And I'll leave you Anna Karenina by Leo Tolstoy as just the most comprehensive and broadest vision of the world as a book. And I'll leave you J.S. Bach solo violin partita number 2, the Chaconne from that partita, as a piece of music which is just the broadest, most glorious and most expansive vision of the world, which is what I aspire to do and build every day at Vitruvian. See the biggest vision that I can of applying fitness technology to the world and bringing that. And those two pieces of art, things that I aspire to lead Vitruvian into being a piece of art in the particular domain that we've chosen.
Wow, beautiful answer. And before I let you go, for anyone listening wanting to find out more information about Vitruvian, anything we talked about, maybe even see a few videos of it in action, what's the best starting point for everything? And also the best way to contact, say, your team?
There are several ways. You can check us out on Instagram. Just search for Vitruvian on blue tick on Instagram. You can find us on Facebook. You can find us on TikTok. You can just find us through our website, which is vitruvianform.com. Reach out by the support email. You can also find me on LinkedIn if you want to make a personal contact. I'd be more than happy to meet you on LinkedIn. Thanks so much for your time, Neil. It was a pleasure.
No, thank you. And I love how you're making a difference for fitness and training with technology, but I think it's your story that just brings it all to life there, from being that ex-finance guy, trading on the trading floor and then in the weight room, and how it led to Vitruvian, and also how you applied your degree in physics and how dedicating yourself to make it more effective, efficient, engaging and beneficial overall. And it's when you put all that together and then to create this 21st century technology, it's just fantastic what you've achieved. So thanks for sharing that with me today.
Thanks, Neil. I'm just having the best time in the world getting to do what I do and doing it with amazing people there's not a single person in this company who's not smarter and more able than me and what they do. So that's a joy. It's a joy meeting new members who get the technology and just get it and understand it and get involved and get a benefit. There's nothing better in the world than being involved in that.
So a big thank you to Jon for joining me on the podcast today, sharing his story. I cannot thank each and every one of you for listening to this podcast, for not only tuning into the show, but also sharing your story. And Jon is just one of over 2,000 people to do that. And we've been very fortunate to speak with people in over 75 different countries. So wherever you're listening to me every single day, maybe you've got something that you would like to share with me. So please, email me now, techblogwriter@outlook.com, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn @Neil C. Hughes. Keep your messages coming in, your stories, how you're leveraging technology. That's what this show is about. So a big thank you for listening as always. And until next time, don't be a stranger.
Thank you for listening to the Tech Talks Daily Podcast with Neil C. Hughes. Remember, technology works best when it brings people together.